self-control. Her gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Everybody, welcome to the Monday edition of the Paranormal Portal Bedtime Stories from Beyond. Hey guys, how you doing? How'd your Monday work out? It was an experiment in positive thinking. And I hope it was positive. I really do. I hope it worked out well for you and it wasn't such a huge pain in the tail as Mondays tend to be. But I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I got a whole fresh batch of spooky crap to read you. So I hope you're all ready because it's time for bed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Monday night, it is live. It's almost as good as Monday Night Football. Unless you hate football, then I hope it's better. I like football, but you know what? I don't know. It's just a whole nother story. I just noticed my days were getting wrecked by loving the Vikings so much, so I decided to stop watching football. And I haven't, honest to God, I haven't missed it that much, but I do kind of miss that vibe of that excitement and that energy and stuff. But you know, it's not even football season, so why the hell am I going into that? I don't know. It just came up because I said Monday night. So we are live and underway here on the Paranormal Portal Bedtime Stories from Beyond. I am your host, Brent Thomas, and I hope you're excited and ready for some spookiness because I got some good stories lined up for you. I hope you enjoy them, and if we run out of time, I'll pull up some more. Or I mean, if I read through them too quick, I'll pull up some more. Yeah, I don't know. They generally aren't very long, but every once in a while there's a few. I'm just looking through the chat room to see all the peoples that are here. 302 JWGT. I don't think I've seen you before. Nice to see you. Welcome to the show and welcome to the chat room. Pam Edgerton, Deb, good to see you guys. Renee, Haxer is here. Dana is here. Julia is here. MCAT. And let's see what else I'm missing. I see I'm reading them manually because I think that list sucks. I don't think it's reliable at all. So 0, did I already say 0? I don't know if I did, but if I didn't, there you are. Welcome to the show. Bigfoot Michigan Rob, good to see you, brother. Glad to see you made it in again. But I'm not seeing any other names there. So I think I got all of them that are actively chatting. Becky, hi. Hi, Becky. Good to see you. The Ronin frequency. Good to see you, brother. Or sister. I'm not sure which you are, but it's good to see you. I haven't seen the name before, so great to see you. Oh, Duke's here. Good to see you, Duke. I guess this is getting to be a full boat, which is wonderful. If you're new to the show, welcome. This is the Paranormal Portal Bedtime Stories. So these are our shorter format shows. We have 2-hour shows on Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Friday and Saturday, we're also connected to our network, which is tfrlive.com, which is also broadcast on iHeart Radio, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live. But the rest of these nights are just YouTube nights. And Wednesday night is also a YouTube night, but it's a 2-hour extravaganza with Don and I. But the bedtime stories are every other night, and they're roughly 45 minutes to an hour shows, and just kind of cool little tidbits through the week to keep the fire burning, I guess, here in the Portal Studios. So welcome to the show, those of you that are new, and I hope you guys have a great time. If you have a paranormal experience of your own that you'd like to submit to be read on the show, please feel free to do that. The email is paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, and you can let me know in there if you want to be identified or if you'd rather be anonymous. That's cool. Either way, you don't have to be identified. That's up to you completely. But if you ever want to call in and take part of any of the shows, the call board is open. The phone number is 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. If you look on your screen underneath the Chrome Paranormal Portal logo right up here, there's also the phone number, which is really small. And one of these days I'm actually going to remember to blow that up so it's bigger. But currently it still might require reading glasses. But if you commit it to memory, you're all set. So let's get to the stories, ladies and gentlemen. The meat of the dinner. The prime rib of the feast, as it were. I don't know. I'm just making this stuff up as I go. So this one's kind of a long one. Oh, my God. I don't think we're going to need more stories tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This one's pretty lengthy, but I'll do my best to do it justice. I do have to apologize in advance. I think I got like a plugged tear duct in my right eye, so it's kind of puffy, and my eyes been almost glazed all day, so it's been kind of a pain in the tail, but it may affect my reading, but I'm going to do the best I can because I love you, and that's just what I do. Okay, so here we go. This one's coming out of California, and again, this one's pretty long, so. This story takes place in Victorville, California, at a house in the beautiful Spring Valley Lake on Cresta Blance, B-L-A-N-C-E, Court. Blance? I don't know. I'm trying to be worldly here, but it's not working out real well. I moved to Victorville in late October 2005, and I knew absolutely no one. The first day I had started school, a girl named Michelle approached me, and ever since then, we've been best of friends. Also, on the first day of school, I saw this guy, and honestly, I fell in love automatically. It was several weeks before he even said a word to me, thanks to a friend of his who I shared class with, and he overheard me talking about him and told him, and so the guy, Jordan, approached me. We ended up going out several times, but it wasn't until New Year's Eve that I went to his house for the first time. The house had the darkest and most depressing living room I've ever been in. It could be the brightest day on earth, and that living room remained dark, so everyone usually sat in the bright and happy dining kitchen area. And the house was set up as such, entire front door.
Engine.
Oh, the ghost box actually spoke tonight. It said engine. E-N-G-I-N-E. Okay. Not sure what that means. That seems kind of random to me. You know, again, I'm not a real... I don't put a whole lot of stock in these computer-based apps, but the interesting thing is that something triggers that. But the word engine doesn't have any bearing to me personally, unless it resonates with some of you out there, anyone out there having engine trouble or something going on with an engine. I don't know. But it did go off, so that's cool. So back to the story. The living room was really dark. The house was set up in such, as such, and it says entire the front door to your right are French doors. It says entire the front door to your right. That doesn't make much sense. Are French doors leading into a study, which was turned into a bedroom. To your left was the dining area. From the kitchen, or from the dining area, you could enter the kitchen, but also if you kept going straight, From the front door, you could enter the kitchen to your left, and on your right, the hallway continued, but if you kept straight a few steps, you would be in the living room. If you walk through the living room and go through the doors, you would enter the boom boom room, which was like a den, but people slept in there. And if you went right down the hallway from where it turns into the kitchen or living room, you would continue down the hallway until you hit the linen closet, and where you would have to go left to the master bedroom and one of the bathrooms, or right to another bedroom and the laundry room. The first time I spent the night, Jordan and I slept in his room. I fell asleep before he did, and he woke up in the middle of the night, and I saw someone sitting up in the corner. The room was dark, but I could tell that they were looking at me. And I thought it was one of his brothers who had stayed in the room with us, or maybe Jordan had fallen asleep in the corner, and I looked beside me in the bed, and Jordan wasn't there, so I looked down at the floor beside the bed, and there was Jordan sleeping. I looked up to the corner again, and whoever it was had gone. The bedroom door was locked, and I didn't want to seem crazy, so I didn't mention this because although I knew they said the house was haunted, they always said it was in the hallway. Later, when I would visit, whenever the door was locked, it would start to rattle real hard like someone was trying to break in. And Jordan told me that was probably the wind, and I wanted to believe him, but none of the windows in the bedroom were open, and I don't think any wind would shake the door that hard. I got used to the door rattling and the chills while walking through the hallways and the doors slamming shut, and I just accepted that the house was haunted. Thankfully, I didn't have to live there. One day, Jordan told me that he experienced something really scary. He said he woke up one night to go get some water out in the kitchen, and he said when he opened up the door in the middle of the hallway, he saw his 18-month-old or so niece standing there. It was really late in the night, and he thought maybe she woke up to go to his mom's room or something, but he wasn't going to just walk past her, so he went to pick her up, and she disappeared, leaving him in the hallway alone. He got scared and didn't even bother to get the water. I was there that night, so when he came back to the living room, he woke me up, and together we walked to Jeremy and Taya's room, his niece's parents, and it was the first room when you entered the house, and we tried to push them open, but the doors were locked. This meaning Jamya could not have been in the hallway. We ran back into the room, locked the door, and told his mom everything when morning came. She told us that several days beforehand she had experienced the same thing, except that she always wakes up at the same time in the middle of the night and walks around the house checking on things. And she said that when she started down the hallway to the kitchen, she heard a baby crying, and then she saw Jamya standing there. And as she got closer and was talking to her, trying to comfort her, she smiled and disappeared. Tammy doesn't really get scared of the things, so was just surprised. And she too checked Jeremy and Taya's room, and once again, it was locked. Everyone in the house sort of creeped out by this, but what really did it was when Tammy was cooking one night, and if you were at the stove, if you looked to your right, you were looking straight down the hallway, which was also dark unless it had light on it. But Jamia liked to play in the hallway, so she was there, and everyone else was scattered around the house, and Tammy said, "Dinner's ready." Jordan, me, and a few other people came from the boom boom room. I don't know what that means. That cracks me up, though. And some more people from the back of the house, and we all seemed to get to the hallways right at the same time to see Jamia slammed against the wall by something. We all stopped and stared. She stared in front of her, and then her eyes followed something heading towards the kitchen. After that, she wouldn't play in the hallway. We didn't talk about that ever again after that. One day, everyone was in the boom boom room, and at this point, I was living there too because my dad was arrested, and he had been evicted from the apartment we were living in, and I had nowhere to call home, and I had moved there from out of state. I had just came from the bathroom rather, and started down the hallway. And at the end of the hallway was a mirror, and I was looking at myself through it the whole time, thinking about how terrible I looked at that point in time. Well, as I was walking down the hallway, almost toward the middle, I saw a dark, tall figure of a man walking behind me, but not following me. He had walked from the area of Tammy's room towards Jordan's room. This scared the hell out of me. I knew no one else was in that area of the house besides me, and on top of that, no one else in the house was a tall, shadowy figure. I ran into the boom boom room and told Jordan. Everyone went back there. I told Jordan, and it's not really well punctuated, I'm sorry, but everyone went back there, and there was nobody there. Then on one more occasion, Taya and I were the only ones in the house besides Jamia, and we sat there in the kitchen eating dinner. At the point, Jamia was older, barely 2 years old, but she could talk so well. And she said to us all, "That girl's here," and pointed to the hallway. Taya and I looked and saw nothing, but then several moments later, we both got chills, and that's when Jamia said, "And that man's here too. He killed her. He killed the girl," and started smirking and giggling. That's creepy. She then took her fork and started stabbing at herself. Not hard, just gently, and started talking, saying things like, he a bad man. He kill her. Mama, he killed that girl." And would point to the hallway. We moved Jamia's chair so she couldn't see into the hallway anymore. But then it started again. She started saying, "She's scared because that man's going to get her, and he in the hallway too." And we had no choice but to believe Jamia was seeing things in the hallway. And that possibly was being possessed into telling us what she saw, because how could she know what words to use to tell us or even show us with her fork? She was only 2. Taya and I were so scared. From that point on, Jamia continued to talk about that little girl and the man, and Tammy, Jordan, Jamia, and myself would start to see him more and more. I started feeling at times evil Jordan. I started to feel evil. Okay, Jordan and I would start to argue more as would Tammy and her boyfriend. And then one day, at this point I was pregnant, I just flipped. Jordan's brother Justin had come into the dining room and started talking about how I was making a mess with the papers, and as he went to pick them up, he knocked over my water. I just flipped out. I took the scissors, which are very, very, very sharp, and threw them at him with all my force, and thankfully he dodged and they missed him less than an inch and hit the wall. Good Lord. Then I stormed out of the dining room and hit the hallway, and I felt like someone had pushed me back, and I fell backwards, and before hitting the ground, Deshay, their mom's boyfriend, caught me. After that, I left the house to stay with my grandma, who had moved to California, but a couple of hours away, and I never went back. Although Jordan would still call me and tell me stories until they decided, after too much happenings, just to move. Jamia was being pushed around and assaulted more, and the ghost was starting to appear to more of them, and the front door would just open and close. But I guess what really did it was when Tammy was entertaining one day, and after everyone had left, besides the people who lived there, she was cleaning up in the living room, and when Jamia came into the living room wanting to be picked up, so Tammy picked her up and started to head back towards the kitchen, when she said she felt like something had pushed the side of her and was falling in like slow motion. When she realized that she was falling into the glass coffee table, she said she knew that there was nothing she could do. They were going to fall into the table, and when they hit the ground in a split second, the table moved, but not just a little bit. It zoomed right into the wall and shattered. That was it. They started packing that night and were gone. I know it doesn't seem like a lot of this stuff is possible, but I experienced it, and so did 9 other people, and we honestly believe the house is haunted. We never did any research on the house, but I do think it would be a good idea to do just that. I don't know what it is, but it seems like every house that they move into is haunted. from the stories Tammy would tell me to the experiences at both houses I would be in. I'm going to post more stories, blah, 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 etc., etc. So, very interesting. I don't know. I wonder if it was part of the house or if it's, again, because of an object that they were moving with them. Especially if it follows. If it follows, it's either attached like to the little child, the Jamya child, and at that point, it's going to take some kind of cleansing of that person to break that attachment. But yeah, that's terrible. All right, the next one is coming out of California again. And this one's real short. So let me just speak. Nope, no calls. Okay. We're doing good. Off to a good start. It was around 1 a.m. and I had this strange feeling. So I turned over in my bed and opened my eyes, and there was this white figure 5 feet away, and it became clearer by the second. And soon I was able to make out eyes, nose, a friendly smile, and most of the figure. It smiled at me and left. That's nice. Hi, wake up. Okay, see ya. I told my friends about it, and they said that they thought it was a ghost. Really? I wonder how they came to that conclusion. I named him Steve, and I still see or hear him around today, but nothing like that first encounter. I was staying in a hotel in Savannah, Georgia, and I was standing in the parlor eating chocolate kisses, and I was about to go downstairs to the room, and I saw a shadow on the wall that didn't move with mine, and I knew I was alone, so I assumed it was Steve. And I started walking down the stairs, and I hear creaks that the stairs had never made before, and booming sounds followed me. They sounded like feet. And I think that Steve was traveling with me on that trip. Later, I heard that all sorts of weird things were happening around there, and mysterious mist in the graveyards, voices with no one speaking, and, my favorite, a little girl giggling and pulling on your skirt when you were alone. The town was said to be haunted, and I knew that about a month before I came to town, they dug skeletons out of the walls of the room I was staying in. Oh, that's terrible. I love that place, and the hotel was called the Foley House Inn. Wow. Now, Savannah, Georgia has an amazingly active paranormal condition for sure. I mean, I think there's been ghosts in Savannah as long as there's been people in Savannah. There's a long, long tradition of spookiness there. Well, there you have it. That was a very short story, but I don't know if Steve traveled with or not. I don't know. All right, the next one. Ooh, this one sounds creepy. This is from North Carolina. One night I was at my grandma's house with my mom, and my mom was in bed with me and my brother. My mom was in bed, and me and my brother were staying up late. And it was like 3:30 a.m., and me and my brother were getting tired, so I decided to get a glass of warm milk to help me sleep, while Courtney, my brother, went to his room. When I was done, I went to the hallway to make my way towards my room, and all of a sudden I saw a woman standing in the hallway. She looked like she was in her 30s or 40s, but the thing that freaked me out was the fact that I could see right through her. I wanted to move, but I couldn't. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. I just stood there absolutely frozen. Just when I thought things couldn't get any freakier, I saw a smile slowly form on her face. Then she started walking towards me. Walking became jogging, and then she was running, and with a devilish grin on her face. I just watched in horror, and then she ran faster and faster until she started screaming, "Run, child, run!" After that, she started laughing like a devil or something, so I took her advice and I turned the other way and ran like hell. While I was running, I was screaming my lungs out, but I guess my mom heard me screaming because I ran into her in the hall, scared as hell, and I was trembling in her arms the whole night, with the sound of her laugh in my head. And that night, my mom was crying because I was trembling so much. Finally, she asked me what was wrong with me, and so I told her everything. And the more I told her, the more worried she got. Once I was done, she told me told me about her mom, and that was who I saw in the hallway. From that day forward, I would just tremble with the sight of that house. Oh dear. Yeah, that's terrible. It's like that's your grandma. The hell kind of grandma is that? Bet you was a blast at Christmas. Oh no. Okay, this one's coming out of South Dakota. Not horribly long, but a little bit longer. Let me get a drink here, ladies and gentlemen. Got to wet the whistle. We got us a call, though. Let's get to the call first. I can always drink as I'm talking. God, my mouse sucks. Come on, seriously? There we go. All right, Haxer, you're on the air. Hello?
Wow, I've been turned on and off so often in this call already. How you doing, Brent?
I have that effect on people all the time.
Yeah, line unmuted, line unmuted, line muted, line unmuted. I think it's a rap song coming up or something.
Right. No, I've got this mouse just sucks. It's like I click it once, but it thinks it's been clicked a few times. So it's time to upgrade, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you live in Georgia, which I do, yeah, we always go to Savannah, and Savannah is simply the most haunted city in America.
Mm-hmm. I can believe that.
And that's why I think I'd be a great pit stop to visit my bar before you head out there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. How's things coming, by the way?
But, great. Doing great. Got the approval from the health department, and back bar guy who's been missing in action for 2 weeks pops up and says, let's talk. Plumber wants to work with me, and electrician says, mea culpa, I'm coming to hang the lights tomorrow. Be there.
Ooh, nice. Very good.
So everything's going.
Good.
But what I was going to tell you is a famous story from Savannah.
Oh, please. That'd be great.
Yeah, this is one that you usually get when you hang out in Savannah for any period of time like I do.
Okay.
So the story begins at the shrimp factory on River Street. Most of the buildings on River Street are warehouses, and the building which the red and white awning was used as a cotton warehouse and held slaves as they were brought over from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
By the day, the slaves would work loading cotton. At night, they would be chained to the walls of the rooms upstairs. Some of the employees of the shrimp factory believe the lingering essence of those slaves is still there. They've heard all sorts of strange noises upstairs, including groaning and the clanking of chains.
That's so sad.
Yeah, so what you can probably hear is a thing called vadoki vadoki. The cries can be heard echoing from the upper floors. And what that means, doki means devil. And va means to kill. Vadoki vadoki, to kill the devil.
Oh, wow.
The shadows are easily seen on the walls, and unseen voices murmur in the dark. Well, basically, you know that not only the shrimp factory, but most of River Street is super creepy and supernatural.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's always, I can't say a lot for Georgia. What I want to, I live here. I'm a transplant. Yes, the peaches are amazing. And, the football team is cult status with the SEC, and everybody wears black and red during the season. But Savannah is, I would say, our jewel.
Yeah, I've always wanted to visit
and
there.
We love it so.
Yeah, I've always wanted to visit there. I read a book years ago, In the Garden of Good and Evil, and it sounds like just an amazingly eclectic and unique place.
Oh, you can't imagine when you get there, and it's such a great city even to live in. The way they've designed the city, there's parks in the middle of neighborhoods that are surrounded by the overall city.
Oh, nice.
No, it's really great, and most of those, believe it or not, those circles that you have are built over most of the city is built over a cemetery.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So, not only that, a great place to eat is the Pirate House, and the Pirate House is definitely haunted as well.
Oh, that is awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a great place to go and check things out. And I'd really love the opportunity to get over there and spend a week or so just exploring and checking the sites out. But it's just, even when I was reading that book, I just got this really cool vibe, from the words coming off the page. It was just like, I like this place. I don't know why, but it just seemed to resonate.
Trust me. Yes, you've got it, sir. And when you read that book or you visit that place, the air is amazing. Nighttime is enchanting.
Mm-hmm.
The city's alive. And it's like I said, it's the jewel of Georgia.
Wow, that's really cool. Well, if we do make it there,
All right.
we'll be stopping by. We will if we're coming that way.
Oh, and when you guys are coming down, I'll know to make a few gallons of Portal Punch for you.
Is that like a hurricane?
Oh, you don't know about the Portal Punch?
I don't. I'm usually doing the show. I don't know what's going on in the chat room.
Well, the Portal Punch is a pretty dicey mixture of stuff.
Oh.
If you remember a long time ago, you had Nessie on the show.
I had who on the show? I'm sorry.
For Nessie?
Oh, Nessie. Yep.
Nessie?
Yep.
Nessie. Okay, I'm sorry if I just called Nessie, but Nessie?
Yeah, Nessie. Yep.
Yeah, he was talking about ancient Egyptians and some of the herbs they did, and then I got entranced by the show because he was talking about Blue Lotus.
Oh, okay.
I said, wait a minute. So I go and find the Blue Lotus, and I immediately stuff it into a vodka bottle.
I like where this is heading.
Well, then basically you infuse the vodka with this Blue Lotus. And then when you get it, you strain it out and you have Blue Lotus vodka. Now take 1 ounce of that Blue Lotus vodka, 1 ounce of peach schnapps, 1 ounce of blue curacao, 1 ounce of rum, and 1 ounce of tequila blanco.
Oh my God. Okay.
Mix that with some white cranberry juice and white grape juice.
Oof.
Shake that thing up, and you've got a super blue Portal Punch designed with the help of Nessie.
Oh my God. That sounds like rocket fuel.
It is quite rocket fuel, but you can't taste anything. And the Blue Lotus calms you down.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I've definitely I definitely got to try a Portal Punch for sure.
Well, I'm just waiting for some hot weather to send you guys a couple bottles.
Oh, God bless you.
Yeah.
I love you, brother.
But cold weather, it's not the drink.
Oh, okay. I got you. Well, it's on the way. It's getting warmer, so we're heading in the right direction.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, back to the show, guys. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you calling.
All right. Bye-bye.
No, see, I clicked it once and it muted, unmuted, and muted again, and then it hung up. So, wow. Does that not sound great, Nelly? Oh, my God. That Portal Punch sounds amazing. I can't wait to try that. Oh, that's, oof. I know we're going to be drinking that on set, so, ladies and gentlemen, I can't be held too responsible for what may happen on that night whenever that happens. If he sends us bottles of the Portal Punch, it's going to get stupid in the studio in a hurry. I'm just saying, fair warning, I can't be held responsible. Oh my God. All right. So continuing on, where did I get to? Did I read this one? No, I didn't. Okay. All right. So this one's coming out of South Dakota. It says, let me start by saying me and my bestest lifelong friend are closer than sisters, and we all go to each other's family events because that's just how close we are. Her family is like my family, and my family is like her family. And a couple of years ago, my grandmother passed away due to cancer, and every year on her birthday, we bring flowers to her grave. Well, that's sweet. That's beautiful. Last year, it was very last minute. Sorry, Grandma. And it was about 11:30 to midnight by the time I remembered that we forgot to bring flowers out to the cemetery. And I stood up and said, "We have to bring flowers to Grandma's grave." And thank God Walmart is open 24/7 and they don't ever close the gates to the cemetery that she's buried in, because it's in the middle of nowhere pretty much. And we went and bought flowers and headed out there. Back then, I had this big old 91 Buick LeSabre, and it was a big old boat of a car, and it was a total piece of garbage. But I mean that those of you who know what they look like know it's a pretty solid car, heavy doors, etc. And right when we got to the gate of the cemetery, my friend started flipping out, screaming about a lady in a black robe and a pale face and a dark sunken eyes standing by the gate. And I looked back and I didn't see anything, so I thought she might have just seen like a shadow of the car or something. And we pulled up to my grandma's headstone. It's on the very end closest to the driveway. And my friend was just like begging me to just bring the flowers out the next day when it was light out. And I'm like, well, we're already here and my car is a gas guzzler. I said, whatever you saw is gone now. And I don't think it wants to hurt us. So I'll be quick about it. Normally the cemetery has a very friendly vibe, but not that night. That night, I had a very uneasy feeling. I asked if she wanted to come and put flowers on Grandma's grave with me, and she said, "Just tell Grandma happy birthday from me." And that's how I knew she was extraordinarily scared. Normally, she would have come with me no matter what, since this was like her grandmother too. So I finally got out of the car, flowers in hand, and I left the car door open because I was a little freaked out myself. And I walked to my grandma's grave, set down the flowers, and said, "Happy birthday, Grandma, from the both of us." Just as I stood and turned around, out of the corner of my eye, I saw my car door slam shut hard. My friend started screaming. No, the car was not tilted. It was not on a hill, or no, there was no wind that night. It was a perfectly windless summer night. I was in total shock that that big old heavy car door could have just been shut by itself. No way. It took a very hard shove to shut it, so there's no way it could have just slammed shut like that. I froze, not knowing what to do. I couldn't move, and finally I got the courage to make a mad dash for the car. I grabbed the door handle, which was freezing, which didn't make sense since it was 80 degrees out that night. I flung the door open, jumped in the car, and threw it into drive, and it was very cold in the car, and my AC didn't work. My poor friend was pale as a ghost herself, and she just kept screaming, "Go, go, go, go." She says she was just sitting there watching me, and the door slammed shut, and the steering wheel shook a little, so she started screaming. And just as we were pulling out of the cemetery, I saw a very dark shadow by the end gate, so we hauled it out of there and went straight home. When we got home, we told Mom what had happened, and she said, "Well, maybe it was Grandma's way of telling you to get home, because I didn't have a driver's license at the time. Naughty me." That's creepy. That's creepy. But, of course, cemeteries are another hot spot if you're interested in looking for spirits. And I don't really understand that, to be quite honest. I don't know why, when people pass, are they so attached to their bones or, their physical body? Why are they linked like that? And maybe it's just maybe an echo of the person. Like maybe the spirits in cemeteries aren't fully realized personalities. Maybe they're just some of the life force that was left in the body that just takes a while to dissipate and perhaps just lingers. I don't know. I don't know what those things are. I don't know that it's the same people. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Julie. We are. Julia lives in the same area as Don and I, so we're trying to figure out some cemeteries to go check and do some EVPs and stuff. I figured that'd be a good time, and maybe we get some good evidence. There's actually a few legends around here I want to check out, and one of which is apparently there's a legend of a ghostly, an invisible person carrying a lantern along the freeway. Which really isn't a freeway. It's just a 2-lane highway going north into Canada. But we had a listener that had shared with us his story from back in the 70s when they were hitchhiking up and got stuck there, and they saw the ghostly lantern light, and that's really close to Don's house. So, where he was describing that happened. So, hopefully we'll get to check out a bunch of things at least this summer. And I'm definitely going to go get more night shots with the night vision binoculars and try to catch more unexplained aerial phenomena, whatever that may be. The place I'm talking about, Julie, is up 95. It's close to, I don't know if it's not quite as far as, what's that town? It's not quite as far as, I can't think of the name of the town. I used to work at a wine bar up there too, so I'm forgetting it, but it's about 15 minutes north of town. So maybe 10, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to check it out. So that was a good story though. All right, this next one is coming out of Washington. This is right in our neck of the woods up here. So let's see what's going on. This is a very short one, but it's coming out of the state of Washington. It says, I'm 12 years old now, so I can remember this pretty clearly. When I was 2, I remember I was at my grandma's old house, and I was in the room where all the toys were, and I saw the door open and then close. A little boy was standing right in front of me. He looked to be about 10 years old, and he had blue shorts and a green shirt and a baseball cap, and he said his name was Billy. Then he asked me if I wanted to play with a certain toy. I picked up a different toy and said I liked this one better, and he got up and took the toy out of my hand and hurled it across the room, and I started to cry, and I remember he put his hand over my mouth and told me to hush or he would smack me. Nice. I struggled to get up and get myself to the door, and I yelled out, I'm telling my dad. And when he grabbed my arm, slapped me in the face, and then scratched me. Then I saw an older man dressed in all black shake his head as if he was telling the boy to stop. The man lifted me and set me down, and they both disappeared. And that's when everyone walked in. My grandma was freaking and saying I had a slap mark and scratches, and I never really had anything else happen there. I never saw the boy again. But the man I saw a lot. He was nice, and he talked to me sometimes as well. Wow, what a creepy story. I don't know what happened to Billy, but Billy needs a timeout or something. Wow, what a creepy story. All right, this one's coming out of Virginia. How are we doing on scary? Yeah, that is scary. You're right, Lewis. Unless you're talking about something else, which is always possible because I can't really keep an eye on the chat. But let's see what's going on in Virginia, ladies and gentlemen. I was about 7 when all this started to happen. I was really thirsty and decided to go downstairs to the kitchen and get something to drink. And when I reached the top of the stairs, a hand shot out of the darkness and grabbed my throat and tightened around it. I stood there fearing that if I made a sound, it would tighten its grip and choke me. And after what seemed like ages, the hand let go and disappeared. I ran downstairs to my parents' bedroom, which happened to be the basement, and I told them what happened, and they told me to go back to bed. Oh man, that's so brutal on a little kid. So as I headed up the stairs, I was punched in the back and fell down the stairs. I slept in the living room that night, and the next 5 weeks I slept there and heard tapping on the inside of the windows and footsteps from the kitchen and lower bathrooms, and the entity would show itself to me during this time. No one believed me except for my brother, Will, who saw the ghost just like I did. It never touched him, but it scared him every night. He and I would wake up in the mornings with bruises all over our bodies. Finally, our parents had enough of our whining, and we moved out of the house 3 months later, and have never been bothered by the entity since then. Well, yeah, I mean, God, you got to listen to your kids. If a kid is terrified, there's a reason the kid is terrified. I mean, there's a big difference between a kid making something up or just being a pain in the tail. And when a kid is truly scared, and you can't just discard that and say, well, whatever, go back to bed. Don't be so damn selfish. Help your kids deal with this stuff. It's got to be absolutely terrifying because something's happened to them already that they have no hope of being able to process. And the one place that a child will go when they're terrified is to their parents, because that's the safe place. And when the safe place turns into a mess like that and yells at kids and, pushes them back to their fear, I mean, that's just horrible. Even if you don't believe your kid, listen to them. Listen to what they have to say, and share their concern and help them walk through those emotions. But you don't just discard them and say, whatever, I'm sleeping, get back to bed. Oh, man, those stories just, they irk me. All right, the next one is California. This one's not too long. Let's see, where are we at? So 46. This will be the last one for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But the Jedediah Smith Wilderness Area and Bike Trail cuts a traverse swath through one of America's major metropolitan areas. Within it lies 32 miles of parkway and is one of Sacramento, California's most beautiful attractions. It also is one of the most haunted. An ancient stave of trees can not only be a site for a lovely riparian picnic. Who the hell wrote this? It sounds like some tourist group. A riparian picnic? What the hell's that? I don't even know. I'm sorry, I don't mean to scoff, but it's like, wow. But also a place to hide the darkest of human actions. Conceivably, for every murder in the world that receives full justice, 15 murders go without justice. Why wouldn't a victim long for justice? As a teenager here, I always knew better than to explore the area alone or in the darkness. Just far too many stories. It wasn't until I was 25 that I walked there at night, and that was only on the levee that skirted the area, mere feet away from the lighted apartments, and in the company of a man who would and could protect me. The specific spot is just a mile or so east of the Watt Avenue Bridge on the Rosemount side of the city. My partner was an amazing person, a Native American from the Umatilla tribe, and part Norwegian. He could literally catch wild animals with his bare hands and was sensitive enough to just pick a spot and pick up native arrowheads in the sand. Just so you know, I was in very good hands that night. My feelings of protection lent me enough energy to admire and savor the wild beauty around me. The moon was close to full and shone lithe on the river. Animals that lived therein were as loud as a garage band on the street. And the trees and brambles hid every one of them. Up ahead, Rob and I noticed a woman walking towards us on the levee. She was alone and seemed to walk confidently and unafraid. Rob and I moved over on the levee path to give her space to pass. The lights on the apartments and the moon reflected off the paleness of her clothes. Our conversation died away as she came closer, and just seemed to fade, leaving behind whiteness, and then a pale vapor, and then nothing at all. We were so frightened, we immediately left the trail and cut through the apartments to get home, hurrying to get the area out of sight and behind us. Please don't go there at night, and remember, that was just on the outskirts of the wilderness. Imagine what's in its heart. Wow. I mean, it's very well written, don't get me wrong, but it seems rather verbose for a ghost story, just saying. And sometimes, I'll be honest with you, if a story is really too well written, I have a harder time believing in it. And it's not to say that there can't be really literate people having ghost experiences, but if it seems like it's really well written, to me, it's just a writing exercise for somebody that's working on their literary skills. And that's probably not fair of me, but I'm just saying I do catch myself going, but I try not to judge. I try not to jump to conclusions because honestly, educated people can have ghost experiences just as well as less literate people. So anyway, I guess that's going to wrap it up for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you enjoyed this foray into the paranormal portal. Again, I will be back tomorrow night with another Bedtime Stories. And then Wednesday night, we will be back, Don and I, for our 2-hour venture and see what the hell we can stir up on Wednesday. So I love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice, take care of each other, help each other out, find the magic in every day, and laugh as much as you can. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Sweet dreams.
Woo!